Trying to reconnect to my Facebook page. I forgot to change my password last night. Had a hacker. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. You know what? Hold on for a second. I'm being lazy. There we go. That's better. Okay, we're going to forget about Facebook this morning. Welcome, welcome, welcome this morning to Contractors Chatter. I hope you had a great weekend. It was refreshing and it was invigorating and all that other good stuff. I've had, and I know who it, I don't know who it is, but it's the same hacker who has now used, I want to say, profile attempt number three to try to hack me or scam me. They started off trying to pretend they were a friend of mine. And then when that got goofy, I blocked them and reported that profile. Then they came back pretending they was a friend of a friend. When that got goofy, I blocked and reported. Then they spoofed my aunt's account that tells me they not good. So then I blocked and reported that account, let my cousin know so he can check her account. Let me tell you, and this is a good segue, but good morning, everyone. This is Luciana Turner, your host to Contractors Chatter. Chatter is designed to be that up-level conversation of government contracting around procurement, legislation, just what you need to know to create an overarching strategy. And what a lot of people always want to talk about is where to get the find the opportunities and how to write a proposal. But there is so much more to government contracting than just proposal writing and where to find opportunities. You need the information to create an overarching strategy so you can run the long game. I'm your host, Luciana Turner. I know that was redundant, but I'm going to say my name again. I've been in government contracting, inclusive of my nonprofit time, since the year 2000. And I just launched this platform to bring that pertinent information. This is not a political platform, and anybody who knows me and will tell you if you post a political or off the cuff comment, it gets deleted, you get blocked, and I move on. Um, we have enough politicizing the most ridiculous things. I don't mind a political conversation as long as it's respectful and it stays on topic. I do mind the, and I'm making up the term, devolvement into high school behavior. I didn't do it when I was in high school. I'm not going to do it as an adult. So, with that said, we're going to get back to these hackers and these scammers because I'm trying to go live on Facebook, but I forgot. I changed my password last night, but now I got to change it on all of my linked accounts. And these scammers and hackers, and I know somebody hacked one of my email accounts to set up an OfferUp account to try to scam somebody else's money. They weren't too smart because I got the email. Now I have weird sleep habits. So I was up at one something in the morning. So I saw the email. I don't have an OfferUp account. Went in, flipped the changed the password on the OfferUp account, closed it down, changed the password to my email, and then reported it to OfferUp. Now, what OfferUp did after that point, I don't know. I don't care. I covered my bases. Because what you're not going to do is scam under my name. And that's just it. But that goes back to why the government has instituted what they're calling zero trust. Once upon a time, as a government contractor, and when I left my nonprofit and went to a government contractor, I worked on project on the Hill. And once you got access to the government system, you basically had access. I mean, that's just what it was because they were just lazy. We just gonna call a thing, and a thing was laziness. Now they're adopting what they're calling zero trust, which means we don't necessarily believe you belong here. So your access is now being limited to the what they deem or what has been negotiated to be the length of time required to do the work that you're being hired to do. So if according to the statement of work in a project layout, you only need 6 months access, that's all you're getting. If you need more than 6 months access, then somebody in your power structure, in your hierarchy, which is why you need to have a good project manager and a project management plan, needs to say, hey, this person is going to need more than 6 months access. After, because otherwise, at 6 months, access cut off, and you have to restart the access again. And it's also why DOD, and they're being followed by Homeland Security and GSA, have adopted this CMMC security requirement to do procurement with them. Um, Basically, you need to secure your system. They're not accepting off the shelf Norton antivirus, McAfee, and all that stuff. They want that high grade, you know what you're doing. They want reporting of significant attacks to your system because of the increased malware, spyware, hacking that is going on. The government has identified that they are vulnerable through their subcontractors and contractors. So they are tightening that vulnerability by saying, hey, if you want to do business with us, if you want to continue to do business with us, you need to tighten your game. Now, I'm going to tell you, with this requirement out there, look for an audit. There's already a whole business system IT audit already out there that touches it just kind of hit and miss security. Now with this implementation, I see a whole separate IT security audit coming down the pike. The current audit, what it does, it just makes sure that people who shouldn't have access to systems don't have access. So nobody in finance should have access to payroll systems. That's basically what they're checking in currently. Now with this new requirement, I see a more robust auditing going on. It's going to be an exciting time because what I predict is by FY 2023, I would say Q2, the entire government is going to require CMMC. Now, I was in a webinar where I wish I could remember the senator's name, but I can't. I believe he was on the budget committee or the Ways and Means committee. I can't remember which one because both of them spoke. Who talked about how they were going to make it more cost effective for small businesses, but you include it in your overhead rate and you recover it that way and you keep moving. It's not rocket science. It's already a way there. If you cannot afford the cost up front, then you need to join my virtual summit because I'm actually have an expert come in and talk about credit and being as a criteria for being a power partner in government contracting. You know, we keep wanting to talk about making millions, but we don't want to talk about the foundations required to be $1 million successful business. I said what I said. I hope you like my Batman shirt this morning. I was being playful. Um, but yes, we're seeing this, and it's the conversation started a little facetiously with Facebook hackers. But really, if we're getting hacked on the level that we're seeing hackers and scammers on Facebook, IG, WhatsApp, can you imagine what the government is seeing? I mean, just let that sink in a little bit. We are the average American citizen, and they're just trying to scam us out of $1,000 or our social security number or whatever. And I'm not trying to make light of it, but I'm really just driving home this point. If they're doing all this to get our information, what do you think these hackers and scammers are trying to do as far as our government systems are? Well, we need to, and when you really sit back and think about it, it's not far fetched. We saw earlier, in whether you, well, however you fall on the spectrum, we saw where hackers held the pipeline hostage. I can't remember the name of the manufacturer, but they got their money. It caused chaos for a couple of days. Could you imagine that happening to our government system? Could you imagine Social Security checks not going out? Could you imagine them hacking into the VA? These are the things we need to consider when we're talking about being government contractors and even just being business owners. I talked about this earlier in the year, and I'm going to bring this back up. There are businesses, their whole business model is to watch you scale, reach a certain level of success, clone your business, create cyber confusion so that your customers buy from them instead of you, and then steal your business. So you want to look into securing your assets beyond the trademarks and stuff. You want to, one, ensure you have business continuation insurance at minimum. Two, you need to have an attorney, because I don't know about anybody else. I do not have the time, the wherewithal, and the money for somebody to clone my business, steal my revenue out from under me, and then I'm gonna just let you walk away and be happy. No, ma'am, no, sir. Mm-mm. That's not how this is gonna go. So we have to, my pastor always says you go where you're going head first. We need to change our mindsets around a lot of things. And as business owners, we need to adjust our mindsets. As I'm a business owner and I need to protect my assets. As a business owner, I need to be a guardian and a stewardship of over all aspects of my business. Then, as an individual parent, or however, even if you're just a person, you're doing it for yourself, you have a responsibility to yourself to ensure that what you build builds the financial stability for yourself. I mean, we really need to kind of like uplevel our thinking around these things. Techno- the company that's doing the CMMC security, I sat through a webinar where they walked through the security, the high grade security. Quite frankly, I actually see that security model dominating every industry, including healthcare. It's very tight. I will have to look it up again, but it's the CMMC security model. It's a certain certification. Um, I will have to look it up and bring it back to you because I don't know the name off the top of my head of the company. But I can look up technical security recommendations. I, you know what, I might have to tap into a friend of mine. He hates getting up early in the morning, but I'll see if he'll be willing to even come on and discuss cybersecurity. But I would definitely look into CMMC information because there is a self assessment portion to that before they actually come in and do their security check. And then they give you 6 months to cure whatever deficiency they find before they label your system. Now, I also want to say this, and then we're going to kind of like do a summary wrap up. This requirement is being housed as a flow down. So whether you're a prime or you're sub, the CMMC requirement is being flowed down to the sub, and that is the application of what they're calling the Christian doctrine. And the Christian doctrine basically says whether it directly appears in your subcontract agreement or not is irrelevant. If it appears in the RFP, and do not forget the RFP is a part of your contract by reference. Every RFP has this language in it. Then they've added the language to apply the Christian doctrine, where it says these clauses shall flow down by reference to all participating parties. I'm paraphrasing, that's not the exact wording, but in essence, the whole is not in my document. I don't have to worry about it. No, that's where the Christian doctrine comes in at. It only has to appear once, either in the RFP or the prime contract, and then it flows down. DOD, is telling you up front they are flowing down that requirement for all contracts, task orders, delivery orders. They're telling you that up front, so there's no way of getting around it. And then I wanted to end up by letting everybody know that GSA is holding an open house on November 18th. The National Geospatial Intelligence Agency Leadership Day Industrial Program is also having an open house. Ooh, that was a mouthful. November 4th. So GSA Open House is November 18th, and the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency Leadership Program is doing Industry Day November 4th. So we're just going to wrap up. That was a nice little segue talking about spammers. Join me tomorrow morning, 8:15 a.m., as I bring you another installment of Contractors Chatter. I wrote a note to myself to bring back some security recommendations. Any recommendations on this platform that I bring you are just that, recommendations. It is up to you to do your own vetting and to determine what works best for you and your business. I'm not your coach. If you want to be, if you want me to be your coach, jump on my calendar and we can discuss how working together will look. But I'm not your coach. I'm just here to provide you the information that you need so that you can build that strategic platform for the long haul. So, like I said, it's just a recommendation. You still need to do your due diligence with any information I provide you. And with that, I will see you tomorrow morning, 8:15 a.m. for another installment of Contractors Chatter.